if you eat something really unhealthy, for instance, you might compensate by skipping the next meal.
Yes.
Or you might have to go to the gym for an hour.
Oh, gosh, I still do that now, actually.
I have a twin brother. I've had issues with the dynamics between us since probably year 4. I always struggled with this dynamic because I felt that I was worthless because I wasn't like him. It's time to get over this stuff, you know.
Before we begin today, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land we're recording on, the Whadjuk Noongar people. We pay our respects to elders past and present and recognise the strength, resilience and ongoing contributions of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people across this country. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land. All right, let's get into it. Today's guest is Kate Purcell, an author, speaker, and lived experience advocate based here in Perth, who has spent over a decade working in mental health services. Kate shares openly about living with anorexia and schizoaffective disorder, experiencing psychosis in her 20s, and navigating more than 13 years of ongoing recovery. Her work today combines lived experience with professional insight, from facilitating recovery groups in the community to now stepping more deeply into the eating disorder space following her recent recovery from atypical anorexia. Today, we'll be talking about eating disorders, identity, relapse, fear of weight gain, and what it actually takes to take your power back when your mind is working against you. Welcome to Shit's Fucked. Proudly supported by our seasonal sponsors, Coach Carly, Elevate Bianco, and Your Recovery. Well, welcome. Thank you so much for coming in, Kate.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No, my pleasure. I thought we could just get right on into it.
Yeah, cool.
So you've brought your books today.
Yes.
Let's actually grab those and show it to one of the cameras.
This one as well.
Yeah. So what is it called? We got Tell Your Eating Disorder to Fuck Off. Love it.
And Hope Inc.
And Hope Inc.
This was the first.
That was
the second.
the first. This is the second.
Yeah.
Whichever camera this is going to. So what made you want to write these?
Both of the books, what made me want to write both of them.
Yeah.
So the first one, the Hope Inc. book, I started writing that in 2014.
Okay, a while ago.
It was after I started working in mental health, and I actually went to an event where someone with schizophrenia had written a book.
Okay.
And he was doing like a book event, and I was like, I really want to do something like that. I really would like to write down my experiences. So I started this book. It took me years and years to get to where it was at a point that it could be published. It was published initially in 2020 with a different publisher than I'm with now. But anyway, why did I write the book? Because I'm wanting to share my story to help others. I'm wanting to give hope to others, hence the name of the book is Hope Inc. I'm wanting to reach out to those people that are experiencing things that I've been through and give them some hope and inspiration to live a better life.
I love that. And what about this one? What made you write the second one?
So the second one, without going too much into it at this point in the interview, I did have severe anorexia when I was a teenager, but then, oh gosh, I don't know where to start with the other stuff. I was diagnosed with atypical anorexia last September. So the last few years I've been dieting like crazy to deal with weight gain from medication and things like that. And an eating disorder literally grabbed hold of me again over these last couple of years. So it was 2024 that I realised that I actually had a problem.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I had atypical anorexia, but I knew that there was issues there with weight obsession and things like that. So I started to write this book for my own healing journey, obviously leaning into the stuff that I went through as a teenager, but the stuff that I was going through at the time in 2024. And then I finished writing this book last November, and then it was published with Hembry Books. But again, I'm wanting people to get some hope and tools for recovery from eating disorders, because eating disorders are ridiculously hard to navigate.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
This book it's not, the first book is more of a memoir about my story and recovery, whereas the second one is a self-help book for eating disorders.
Yeah.
So it literally has pages in there you can write in and things like that, because it's an interactive, you have to use the book to use those tools and concepts of recovery.
I love that because there's not many books I know that are like that.
No, it's quite unique.
Yeah.
I have looked into other books about eating disorders and it's usually more about their story.
Yeah, so that's what I've seen.
This is specific to self-help, so giving people actual tools to move forward. So I'm really excited about this book. It helped me move forward in my journey and I'm wanting it to help other people in their journey. But I maintain throughout the book, I talk about the fact that I'm on this journey with the reader. I don't claim to be 100% healed from all my issues. I'm on the journey with the reader. I have moved forward ridiculously over the last 8 months. But yeah, I talk about my journey and the learnings that I have. And the growth that I have and putting all of that into the book for the reader.
Absolutely. And, lived experience is really powerful in that way, especially when you're still in it.
Yes.
Like a lot of people don't recognize just how impactful that can be on someone. They think that, you need to be at a certain point, like in your journey to be able to give back or help others. But I think, the real growth is when you're in it.
Absolutely.
Because people can relate to that, they
So
can't relate to the person
like
who's already
living experience
recovered.
rather than lived experience.
Yes, living experience.
When I use my lived experience with schizoaffective disorder and things like that, I'm well recovered from that. So that's lived experience. But I suppose the eating disorder stuff is more living experience because it's still a journey that I'm on.
Yeah.
So and I don't pretend to be some healed, cured person.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's helped me. Writing this book and reflecting on the book has been insanely helpful for my journey. So,
do you mind telling us a little bit more about what atypical anorexia is?
So, I got to quite a low weight, but I wasn't severely underweight. According to a BMI, I wouldn't have been really underweight. So, atypical anorexia is the same as anorexia in terms of you are obsessed with weight.
Yeah.
You are obsessed with weight loss and petrified of weight gain. This is what anorexia is. Atypical anorexia just basically states that you might not necessarily look or be at a weight that is ridiculously underweight.
Right.
But you still have the same issues.
The
same mindset as someone with severe anorexia nervosa. It's the same. It's just you don't have that weight, the weight as such a low weight.
And why do they make that? I don't know if you know that, but I'm just curious, why they make that distinction between the labels about
I suppose
weight.
Because there's no medical emergency in terms of having to be admitted to hospital for medical reasons because you're not severely underweight. But having said that, I wasn't nourishing my body for a couple of years. I wasn't probably very healthy, but not to the point where I needed medical assistance. Whereas when I was a teenager, I was medically very underweight and, things like bone density and your heart and organs and all this sort of stuff, it's at risk because of your low weight.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between the two.
Yeah.
But it's very similar in terms of what's going on in someone's head and what's going on in someone's soul.
Yes.
It's the same.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for clarifying
That's okay.
that for me.
I hope I clarified it.
You did.
Well enough.
Yeah. No, I understand that a little bit better now. But yeah, I was just curious. I was like, I wonder why they.
But I had no idea that I had actually that diagnosis of atypical anorexia until last September. It was a bit of a shock to me. I thought, I've got some eating issues. I've got some weight issues, weight obsession issues. But to be diagnosed with that, I was like, shit. Yeah, it made sense. And I was like, how the hell am I going to navigate this? Like, how am I going to move through this? And that's all in the book. So,
because how did that make you feel as well when you got diagnosed with that? Like, was it?
It was just a bit of a shock.
You just felt like you'd moved past that point, like from when you were younger?
I don't know. It made me feel like it made sense because the last few years, like I said, I've been very weight obsessed.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's hard to say how I felt. It was a bit, just a bit of a shock, I think. Okay. And I realised I need to seek some professional help to get through this. That was when I sought professional help. Prior to that, I was just trying to do it on my own and writing the book and learning through the experience. But yeah, when I got diagnosed with that, I was like, I need to do something about this.
Makes it a bit more real as well.
Yeah, and people started commenting on my weight loss and things like that. So people were really concerned. So that was where I turned things around.
Because I can relate, because for myself, like I was dealing with anorexia and bulimia. Like it started off as anorexia, and then it moved into bulimia, and that went on for a while. Like I think I was 17 when it first hit me, and it was all because I won this photo shoot for this like modeling photo shoot.
Wow.
So it was the first time I'd done any kind of like professional photos.
Yeah.
And as soon as I got the images back, my heart just sank. I honestly was so judgmental of myself. I thought I was huge, and I was not huge at that point in time. Like I was always a little bit bigger than most of the girls in school, but I wasn't like unhealthy. You know what I mean? Like I was still healthy. But yeah, there's something just like, it was like a flick switched when I saw those photos, and I just like stopped eating. It was just automatic. And
it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
The pressure that's on young women to look a certain way, and yeah, it's awful.
It is. And, and that's going through like everything that you see, like not even just social media now, but like back then it was like all the magazines and stuff as well.
Was that in the 90s?
So actually, no, that would have been...
You're probably not quite as old as me. So
I'm 33 now, but it probably would have been 2010. Yeah.
Because in the 90s, skinny was very popular.
Yeah, Kate Moss.
Kate Moss, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the waif. Yeah, it was very hard to navigate body image stuff in the 90s because it was so, popular to be a stick.
Well, it's kind of going back to that now. Like you see a lot of the celebrities now, and they're all struggling.
What's her name? Kelly Osbourne.
Oh, Kelly Osbourne.
Yeah,
yes.
gosh. There's a lot of stars, and the Ozempic stuff. People are using Ozempic.
Yep.
Like Demi Moore is just very unhealthy looking, and it is getting back to what it was like in the 90s, which is just, it doesn't make me feel particularly good.
No,
because it's glorifying thinness and not even slimness, but really thinness, and that's not healthy at all.
No, and look, there's sometimes like I look at a lot of the celebrities, and I guess I look at them and I think, gosh, it would be so hard to be in the spotlight all the time.
Absolutely. I feel for them. I do.
Yeah, like photographs of them from all sorts of angles. I was like, I don't know how I would cope with that. Like I probably would get my mind twisted
absolutely.
About it.
Same.
Yeah, so I'm like, I feel sympathetic for them.
I feel like I want to get this book to Kelly Osbourne and see if it helps her.
Yeah, oh no, poor love. Like she's also going through a lot of grief, like with her dad dying.
I feel so sorry for her. And people are being really judgmental about her situation.
Yes.
Like have some compassion. She's going through a hard time. If she's not eating, then she's not okay mentally. And
no.
Have some compassion.
That's someone who needs help.
Yeah, she needs help. Yeah.
Well, we'll get back to your books.
Yeah.
Went on a bit of a slut tangent then. So someone picked up Hope Inc. I know you were saying that it's that's all right. Shall we? Is that my phone?
That's mine.
Oh, that's all right. We'll pause it.
I'm gonna mute it.
Just mute it. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay.
Can we cut that bit out?
That's so fine. Yeah.
Just an alarm.
Yeah, just an alarm. Sorry.
Don't stress.
I'm just hoping it. Did you snooze it or dismiss
No,
it?
I dismissed it. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. So sorry.
Don't worry.
Okay, let's go.
It's more editing work for me.
Sorry. My bad.
Sorry, Austin. Okay. Well, getting back to your book, I know you mentioned that Hope Inc. was a memoir of yours. So what part of your life would someone be stepping into when they were reading that one?
Reading that book. Okay. So it pretty much talks about my whole life. I'm 41, so it talks about my childhood, what my experiences of being a child was like. It talks about my experiences with dieting, and then anorexia nervosa in my teens, and then it also goes into after I recovered from that. I went through a period of time where I was using recreational drugs, and that kind of led to another downfall in terms of my mental health. So that it goes through all of that, and then it goes through the situation with psychosis and an eventual diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. It also goes through the recovery that followed that. So up until the time that I was writing the book.
Okay.
So it's my whole life in a book, basically.
Amazing.
But it is quite, I like it because there is some severe illness stuff in the first third of the book about what I went through. But the second third of the book is all about what I did to build my life up again to a point where I'm happy and fulfilled and healthy. So it's a positive message in the book, and that's why I like promoting it, because there's so many people out there with mental health issues and people with long-standing mental health issues that have had issues their whole life, like I had. Up until the age I was 26, it was just all illness and not much normality. And I still, from that point on, build up my life and I have an amazing life. So I like to get that message across to people, and also the message about stigma, because stigma with schizoaffective disorder, schizophrenia, that kind of those illnesses is huge.
Massive.
And I like to stamp that out. I like to show people that regardless of these very severe diagnoses, you can still live a happy, amazing existence.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's so many people out there with this diagnosis, and I feel like they need a bit of hope. So that's the main reason I wrote the book. But anyone with any mental health issue can relate to what I go through in that book.
Because I know, like, even when I was going through anorexia, I used to order a lot of memoirs as well of like other like women that were going through eating disorders. I think at the time, I'll be honest, my mind was probably a bit more like, maybe I can get some tips and tricks from them.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But a lot of the time when I did read them, I actually felt a bit more seen rather than, you know, getting what I probably thought I was going to get out of it. And then I thought, you know, okay, I'm not alone in this. There's someone else who's doing something very similar to me.
I think with mental illness, you feel very isolated, and this is basically hopefully making people feel a little bit less isolated and a bit more understood and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's an interesting book. There's a lot of really cringy parts to my illness in that book. When I read it, I still have to cringe a little bit because I went through some pretty tough stuff.
What do you mean by cringe, if you don't mind sharing a bit more?
When I think back to how awful and distressing it was, it makes me cringe a little bit because, yeah, I went through some bloody hard times, and not just with the anorexia nervosa, but the stuff that followed. It was a hard journey, like a hard 26 years. But then the last 15 years have been amazing. The first year of recovery after being diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder was extraordinarily hard. But that was 2011, all of 2011, that was rough because of the stigma, because of people's low expectations of what I could achieve. But from 2012 to now, amazing things have been happening in my life. So I've just
happy to hear that.
Thank you. I've come a long way.
You've done the work.
Yeah, I've done the work, and recovery is work.
Oh, it's lifelong as well.
It's recovery is hard.
It is.
And I think people think sometimes all you need is like medication, just getting meds, and that's going to make you better. But that's not what recovery is.
No.
Recovery is this after you get stabilized by medication. Recovery is how you build up your life again.
Yes.
And how you create happiness and fulfillment and joy in your life.
Yeah, and you can learn all those tools as well to ensure that you don't go back to those places as well, like more preventative measures too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing that.
That's okay. I'm happy to talk about any of this stuff. It's my jam.
Yeah. No, I'm keen to get into it because, like, even though, like, yeah, it's always a hard topic talking about eating disorders or any mental health disorder for that matter. But I think just because I have such personal experience with it, and it is something, like, I'll be honest, it's something I still struggle with today. Like, I really do. And I can relate to when you said medicate, like getting weight from medication. So I was put on antipsychotic, like a Seroquel.
That's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I can relate.
It honestly, as soon as I got on it, like it totally saved my life. It really
Same.
did.
Same.
It was something that I don't regret going on it.
No.
So I'll never be like, don't give these meds a go.
Oh, it's saved my life.
Yeah, no, me too.
But
it really
terrible
did.
side effect.
It's awful.
And considering my history with anorexia, it was tough.
Yeah.
And it has been tough since going on the meds. My weight's been up and down and round and round. And I don't know if I can mention about what's happened over the last couple of days.
Of course you can.
Yeah. So I have decided, because, you know, I could talk forever about this, but basically I'll give you the rundown. So September I was diagnosed with atypical anorexia, started seeing a psychologist and dietitian, started gaining the weight back that I'd lost, because I lost a fair bit of weight. So I've gotten to a point now where I was sort of healthy, put on way more weight than I actually originally anticipated. But basically I've been struggling recently with just the weight's it just keeps going up. And I told the dietitian at the time, I was like, my meds make it really hard to maintain weight.
Yep.
She didn't really understand that, but my worst fear has happened. Like the weight just keeps going up because I'm nourishing my body on a daily basis now.
It's not like you don't look after yourself.
Yeah. But yeah, so basically I came to this conclusion the other day. I was talking to my partner in length about this issue, because I want to be healthy. I don't want to keep putting on weight.
Yeah.
So anyway, I've decided to come off the Seroquel, and that's going to be huge. But I'm going to go back on another antipsychotic.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce the name, so I'm not even going to try. But it's very, very minimal effect to your BMI.
Right.
So it's not, doesn't have the same weight gain effect that some antipsychotics have. And it's more of a new medication.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's quite new, like 5 years.
5 years. Because when I got put on Seroquel, like as I said before, it really did save my life. Like I was in such a suicidal state at that point in time, and my nervous system had never, ever felt the calm that I felt. Like as soon as I took it, I was like, is this how normal people feel like on a day to day?
The moment that I started taking antipsychotic medication when I was diagnosed, I felt so much better. It was like the brain chemicals just soaked up all this amazing chemistry stuff, and it just evened my...
I felt steady as, and I'd never been steady.
Yeah,
like
I
ever.
was steady as, and it's the first time I'd been steady in a long, long time since the drug use. So
it was just tricky though, because like when I saw my psychiatrist who prescribed me that, like he knew about my history with eating disorders and never like once talked to me about that being a side effect. Weight gain.
Terrible.
So it came as a shock, and I've told people about this before, and they've been like, shouldn't you look up the meds that you're taking? And I was like, man, I was in such a bad way.
I was desperate.
I was in such a bad way. I was not mentally well. Like I wasn't going around and researching all the medication I was being put on. And especially when it started to make me feel good, like I wasn't questioning it. So
same.
And then the weight just piled so fast. Like I
can relate to that.
Yeah, I gained like 30 kilos in 2 years.
Wow.
Like it was nuts.
For me, it would have been close to 30.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
And it just took me by surprise. And then all of a sudden, because I mean, I obviously was lower in weight because of
the eating disorder.
But then also like meth use on top of that. And then, going into recovery from that, like I did gain a bit of weight, but it was healthy weight though, like, and it was good. I was nourishing myself, I was exercising, I was doing all the things, but then that med got added on top, and then I blew out. I blew out. And
look, I've struggled with that since I started taking the Seroquel. It's been a struggle.
Yeah.
And I do feel sometimes like, why is this happening to me? Like because of my history with anorexia, why did I have to get schizoaffective disorder where I need antipsychotic medication which leads to weight gain? Like I just felt like it was so unfair. So I've battled with that.
Yeah.
But But yeah, like I said, I am going to change up the meds and hopefully I have a really good feeling about it.
Yeah, I'd love to know how you go.
Yeah, I have a really good feeling. It's going to be quite a process over the next 2 to 3 months about getting off and then going back.
The weaning part is horrible off Seroquel. It's awful.
But hey, I started last night to cut down and I feel fine today. So
good.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to be too unpleasant the whole journey, but I think it'll be worth it in the end.
Definitely, like because I'm off it now. I've been off it for 2 years, but I haven't been able to lose the weight. Like it climbed a bit more and then it plateaued. Yeah. Can't even say that bloody word. And it's just stayed the same probably for the last year. It's not moved at all, and I don't eat bad, and I exercise all the time, and it just doesn't budge.
I go to the gym as well. Yeah, it doesn't budge.
So yeah, I've been prescribed though like Mounjaro, but I have heard of Mounjaro. It's kind of like Ozempic, but it's different. It's still a GLP-1.
Okay.
I've been prescribed it since like July, but I haven't filled the scripts. Yeah. Because I'm nervous. I'm nervous about it. I can imagine. I'm like, I don't know what this is going to do to my body long term. I do have like insulin resistance now, like because of the weight gain too. So that's one of the main reasons they wanted me to go on. But yeah, I don't know. It's all just too tricky.
It's very tricky.
It's too hard.
I've been through the wars with this whole weight issue stuff, but this book is helpful. Sometimes if I'm having a bad day with body image or whatever it might be, I read some of the book and it just brings me back to reality.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna buy this.
This book, I talk about it on the back cover. It mentions it on the back cover, but this book has the ability to be like kryptonite for an eating disorder because it brings you back to who you are.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes, actually, this eating disorder is completely separate from who I am. And actually, being thin is not the most important thing to me.
No.
It's important to the eating disorder.
Yes.
But it's not important to me.
Yeah.
It just, it is like a flash of lightning every time I open this book and read it.
I can't wait to read it.
I'm like, I feel better now because it's a reality check.
Yeah.
It's a reality check about what's important and what's not.
Yes.
And it kind of explores what an eating disorder is and how toxic the relationship is with this eating disorder.
Yeah.
It talks about self-love, self-compassion, all those sort of concepts as well. But the main part of this book that I love is about separating yourself from this eating disorder because it's so easy to get or to forget who you are.
Yes.
You get so overtaken by all these this negative presence inside you that makes you, you make terrible decisions and choices.
Consuming.
It is all consuming. So yeah, this helps you separate yourself and explore who you are because the one thing I think you need when you're battling something like anorexia is a strong identity of who you are to stand up and battle with the eating disorder. If you just if it's all melded in together, it's very hard to battle it.
It is.
But if you can separate yourself from it and build up that identity and that and realize this is who I am and I've got these strengths and these values and I want this for my life, it helps you battle.
Yeah, it's like you're not aligned with this version of me. Yeah,
absolutely. So I'm really quite proud of the book. I think it's really powerful. So we'll see.
And we'll be doing a bit of a giveaway for this one as well.
Cool.
So keep an eye on the socials about that.
Cool.
But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to read it because, as I said, I do still struggle with it. And you're right in the sense of separating because I know for myself, what is helping me get through, again, still not feeling great about it. I'm still battling my head every day. But I kind of sit there and I think, Paris, you're here to experience life. Your body is a vessel. You're here to be. Let's not
body appreciation. Right?
Let's not focus on all the external noise. There's been so much that has been fed, particularly for women, and how they're meant to look and to be and to present. Whereas I'm here to experience life. If I want to go down to the beach and not care about my bathers, I should be able to just go down wear whatever the hell I want and not care about what someone else is thinking.
There is something that I just realized the other day. I was like kind of consumed by all this body image, eating disorder stuff, weight stuff. And I was like, all of a sudden I was like, Kate, you're missing out on life.
Yeah, because you are.
I want to live my life and I want to enjoy life, and this eating disorder stuff just gets in the way of that. It dulls your sparkle.
It does.
100%. You're missing out on life by spending all your time obsessing about this crap and getting all, funny about, the people think I've gained too much weight or whatever. All this crap, like you're missing out on
it's
living.
So true. It's so true though.
So that was a bit of a shock to the system. I was like, because my partner and I, he gets a bit overwhelmed sometimes with my obsession with this stuff. I mean, I'm so much better now than I was last September. But I can't remember. I've lost my train of thought now. I've totally lost my train of thought.
You're all good. Don't worry.
I was going to say something about my partner, but
no, that's okay.
Oh yeah, like I'll be having a bad day. We'll be having a conversation, and I'll say something weight related, and he'll just be like, "Okay, it's time to get over this stuff." No, I totally lost my train of thought. Sorry.
Do you find that helpful though when he says that?
I find that sometimes he gives me the reality check that I need.
Okay, yeah.
Because I get overwhelmed by some of this stuff sometimes.
Get too in your head about it.
And then I'm like, I don't want this eating disorder to not only dull my sparkle but also affect my relationship with the people I love.
Yes.
That sucks. I hate it when Leon, my partner, gets a bit moody because of this stuff. I'm like, I don't want this in my life. I don't want my eating disorder crap to affect my relationship with my partner.
No, I hear that because I know like it was stressful for a lot of my partners who had to deal with it. Thankfully, like my partner now, like he knows how I feel about myself, but I think because I try not to get swayed too much by it. Like I'm not restricting or anything like that. Like I'm not actually acting on it. It's the thoughts though that are there. And I'm like, But yeah, so I always voice like how I'm feeling, which he'll be like, hate that you're feeling like that. Like, you're beautiful and, you should feel good. Like I love you as you are, things like that. But then I don't know. That goes like over my head. I'm like, I don't care what you think, which I should. Sorry. If you're listening, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I'm honest.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to when you were like first diagnosed with anorexia. So that was at 14 and you spent years in and out of hospital. What do you remember most about that time?
Feeling like there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I couldn't see past it. I couldn't see a future for myself. Everything was tied up in this eating disorder and my anorexia was rampant. I couldn't see through it. I couldn't.
Because 14, that's really young.
Yeah, so I started dieting. To give you a little bit of insight into the dieting stuff, I started dieting in year 7.
Okay.
My mum had like Weight Watchers cookbooks and stuff like that, and I started because I was carrying a little bit of puppy fat. I wasn't big, but I had a normal amount of puppy fat. So I started dieting a little bit in year 7. And then people would notice and they were kind of like, oh, that's good, whatever.
Yeah, they always compliment when you lose weight, which feeds it further.
But I sort of got through that and didn't really diet or anything in year 8. But then I had a bit of teasing and a bit of rejection from a boy that I liked and that kind of thing. So the dieting started again quite intensely towards the end of year 8. So I was 13. And then 14, all of year 9 was more restricting and weight loss. And then, I was actually diagnosed. Yeah, I was 14. So it was the beginning of year 10 that I was diagnosed. But, I don't remember that time, anything good about that time. I hated school. So the one thing that I focused on was actually going into hospital and being admitted into hospital. I was like, at least I don't have to go to school because I hated school that much.
Wow.
But then hospital became my other prison.
Yeah.
Because I was there, for maybe like a month and I'd go home for a week and then go back again. It was, I think I had about 10 admissions over 2 years.
Wow, that's a lot.
So some of the admissions were really long, actually. Like some, I think every third admission you had to maintain your weight for 2 weeks. So it might be like 3 weeks of weight gain with the nasal gastric tube or whatever it was. And then they take the nasal gastric tube out and you'd have to try and maintain your weight for a couple of weeks and then you'd get discharged. But yeah, it was not a fun time.
Did you find that helpful, like anytime you went to the hospital, or did you feel like I'm just going to go in, I'm going to do what they want me to do and then
you don't even do what they want you to do because you end up with a nasal gastric tube, so it's forced upon you.
Right.
It's not at all a choice to gain weight because you're petrified of gaining weight.
So I guess you'd have just resistance every time you'd go in.
100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I would try and put off the nasal gastric tube and try and eat a little bit more to gain some weight, but it was hard. So I pretty much most of the time would have a nasal gastric tube. But it was not a good time. And things got worse over that 2 years. I don't want to talk about numbers, but I was extraordinarily low weight when I got admitted the first time, but then by the time of my 10th admission, I was probably about 10 kilos less than that. Wow, so it was it was a continuation of dropping
Big
the
drops,
weight.
Yeah.
So every time I had to go back to hospital, I would have to gain more weight to get back to the target, and then I'd just drop as soon as I went home. But it was also the negative thing about it. Another negative thing about it was the fact that there was a bunch of other girls with anorexia nervosa, and you learned the tips and tricks of the trade. I didn't actually, when I first got diagnosed with anorexia, I wasn't counting calories. I didn't even know what a calorie was.
Right. Okay.
I was counting fat grams. But then as soon as I was sent to hospital with these other girls, I started counting calories, and it became bigger than Ben-Hur, this calorie counting stuff. But and you'd compare yourself to the other girls. You'd be like, oh, they're thinner than me.
Yep.
I want to be as thin as that. I want to be thinner than that. You just compare yourself.
You do. You really do, because I know, like, I even had friends who were going through eating disorders, and it was like you would even converse around, the different tips, what's worked for you, the pro-ana websites as well.
I never did the pro-ana websites. It was just
obsessed.
Terrible.
I was obsessed.
Terrible.
It's so bad though. Like, and it's so encouraging. It's so encouraging.
Toxic.
Yeah, and there's so many young girls on there.
Impressionable.
Like 13, 12, like really young.
It's terrible.
On there. That's where I learned so much. Like, I learned most of my tips and tricks from there, and it's just not good. Like, I think they've taken down a lot of them, but I know there's definitely still things out there.
It's terrible.
It's not good. It's not good. And it just fed into it more, and that's where, even like my other friends, like, who was really struggling with it, like, we couldn't really see what was wrong. Like, it just became a norm. And so we hung out a lot. So because it was, we just kept doing these really odd things together. And, like going out and eating, like in a restaurant and going out for lunch and stuff is really difficult when you're going through something like that, because you don't want to have to eat, but then you can't not eat because of, what people would think. And so if you go out like with other people who are experiencing that, it just makes it a lot easier to navigate. And then, you guys just become like bonded in that way.
I didn't have any friends from school that had eating disorders or anything like that, but I was completely isolated from my friends from school. I didn't see anyone for a couple of years. I was just hospital in and out, home with the family, and I wasn't seeing
That would have been
friends.
isolating.
I was so consumed, so completely consumed by the eating disorder, and I did not know who the hell I was. And I thought that all these terrible parts of the eating disorder, I thought that was me.
Yeah.
Because eating disorder is so selfish and so mean, and I thought that all of these qualities were Kate. I didn't know that Kate had all these underlying passions and likes and dislikes and dreams for the future and things like that. That had all disappeared. There was no Kate left. There was literally no Kate left. Anorexia had taken over.
You got no brain capacity for anything else.
So anorexia was in the driver's seat. Kate was not in the driver's seat for a good 2.5 years, because then after I was in Princess Margaret, 10 admissions, like I said, for a couple of years, and then I went to Hollywood Clinic. That's where I got the help I needed. But I was there for 7 months straight.
Right.
So it was quite a long admission. They wouldn't normally do that. These days they push them in and out. I don't think it's as good as it used to be.
Oh, okay. Oh,
But,
that's a shame.
It is a shame. But it took me about 3 or 4 months to actually get to the point where I was ready to think about recovery. I was resisting the treatment for 3 or 4 months, but they were very patient with me. I don't think you can get that in treatment centres now.
Yeah, it's pretty hard, especially where the pressures a lot of the hospitals are under at the moment.
Exactly.
It's really difficult.
But yeah, it took me a few months to get to the point where I was ready to change. And then the last three months or so at Hollywood, I made some massive headway and started to find myself again. So yeah.
That's good. I'm glad you were able to get the help that you needed then.
I had an amazing experience at Hollywood, and like I said, it wasn't overnight revelation.
Of course, yeah.
But I experienced so much patience from the nursing staff and the other patients. I had experienced so much kindness and compassion, and it was just they started to the nurses and the other patients started to get me to see the good in Kate again, and starting to realize actually there's a spark in here that hasn't died. There's Kate's still in there, and I'm actually starting to get excited about my future and thinking about a life without an eating disorder. I started to think about that, and things got really exciting and exploring who I was. I went and got my tongue pierced when I was at Hollywood Clinic. And,
did you?
And I dyed my hair blue and things that kind of, you're expressing yourself.
Yeah.
And exploring who you are.
Yeah.
Little things like that, and then starting to get into music again, and I started smoking, which is not something I would encourage, but, I started to be all this little rebellion thing.
Yeah, finding a new identity.
Yeah, so it was an exciting time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
But that's all in the book. That's all in Hope Inc.
Yeah.
Hope Inc. is more about the experiences of me being at Hollywood and things like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like I said, tell your eating disorder to fuck off. That's not so much my story. It's more the self-help tools to recover. Hope Inc. is the story of the recovery and the illness.
Yeah, thank you for that.
That's okay.
So what do you think people misunderstand most about eating disorders?
That it's about food. It's not about food by any means. Food is definitely something that needs to be addressed when you are recovering. You need to change your relationship with food.
Yes.
And you need to not feel guilty about eating and things like that. You need to start enjoying food and, changing a relationship. But that comes a little bit later. First of all, it's not about the food at all. It's about the feelings you have about yourself.
Yeah.
And your own psychology, and what's going on inside you in terms of, how do I put it?
Even just like self-love, self-worth, how you view yourself.
But it's a lack of those things.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Like you don't have
any self-love.
Yeah.
You don't have any self-worth. You think that you're not enough the way you are.
Yes.
You need to be extremely thin.
Yeah, you've got to be a certain way to be accepted or to be loved.
Or to be liked.
Yeah.
I thought that when I made the decision at the end of year 8 after I was rejected by a boy that I liked, I made the decision, I was like, I'm going to be thin.
Yeah.
If I'm thin, people might like me. If I'm thin, boys might like me. And then after a while, that didn't really even matter. I just got so caught up in the eating disorder that I didn't even really care. And I hated school. I hated the whole experience. But yeah.
I know even like for myself, I was trying to think back to like what kicked mine off. I know it was definitely that photo shoot that was like but I was like, why did I think that was bad? And I think that came from my nan, like when I was younger, she used to I was under 10 years old when she would be talking to me like this.
What
like,
would she say?
Well, I would go to the fridge and she'd be like, do you need to like go to the fridge again? And I'm like,
my nan was a bit funny like that as well. Really
that
weird.
Generation.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, I mean, if you think about the way that they were brought up.
But can I give you a bit of insight into my childhood and what led to these issues? Because I can there's a lot in the book about that as well.
Yes.
So I don't know if you've read the back cover of the book or anything about my twin brother. Have you?
No, not yet. No.
Okay. So I have a twin brother. He I've had issues with the dynamics between us since probably year 4 because he is not so much, like year 1, year 2, year 3, no issues there. He was still finding his feet at school and so was I. But come for year 4, he started to be the class clown. He was loud. He was extroverted. And moving forward into high school, he was very popular. He was funny. He was charismatic. He had all these qualities that I wasn't. I was quiet and meek and mild, and he was out there and people loved him. And still to this day, I find the dynamic quite challenging because he's so okay with who he is. He doesn't care what people think. He was a
mirror, is he?
He was a bit overweight actually, but he didn't care, and people still loved him. But I always struggled with this dynamic because I felt that I was worthless because I wasn't like him. And I'd see that other people would just respond differently to him than they would to me. And I'd be like, why can't I be like him? And I just wasn't. That's not who I am. But I had all these self-worth issues because of the comparison I had with my twin brother. So come year 8 and had a bit of teasing and rejection, I was like, I was a sitting duck. Like I had all these self-worth issues already, and then add in those things, and I came to the conclusion that the only thing I can possibly control right now is my weight and what I eat. So it helped me take control of my existence, but I will say that that doesn't last very long.
Yeah, control is a big part of it.
Control's huge, but you're not in control for very long because the eating disorder takes hold, and then you realise actually I'm not in control. The eating disorder is in control.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's kind of like this false illusion that you are in control and you're not.
No, you're not at all. But yeah, that's a bit of the insight into why I had all these self-worth issues.
Yeah, so you're already questioning your own worth before that
hugely
came about. Yeah.
And I was always a little bit funny about the way I looked. Even I remember in year 3 I was looking in the mirror and I hated my bum. Like I was in year 3. I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
I used to hate – I remember it very clearly looking in the mirror and thinking – it's too round, it's too big. It's made my skirt stick out too much.
Oh, that's sad.
That was in year 3.
Yeah, you're too young to be thinking about any of that.
So I was always relatively predisposed to this stuff, I think.
Okay.
But there is a way through it.
Yeah.
And that's what I want people to know. There is a way through it. And like I said, I'm not completely magically, amazingly healed from all of this stuff.
Me neither.
But I am so far forward than I was last September with all the work I've done on myself. I'm pretty much almost able to tell my eating disorder to fuck off most days. And I can navigate life a lot better than I was a couple of years ago. So there is hope. There is the road can get a lot smoother.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to do some work.
Yes.
But it's possible to overcome this stuff. And I made the decision when I was writing this book that I did not want an eating disorder to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. I don't want an eating disorder to be a part of that.
Yeah. No, and that's so true. And I love that you're inspiring hope because I know, for myself when – I love the beach. I absolutely love the beach. I'm a water baby. I'm a person who's and I remember just having to constantly get out of my own way and allow myself to go to the beach and experience the beach, like experience the sand, experience the ocean. Yeah. Because for the longest time, like
you would avoid
10 plus years, I didn't go because I just didn't.
That's really sad.
It is really sad because I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Do the things that make you happy. And if the eating disorder is getting in the way of that, then tell it to fuck off.
Exactly. Tell it to fuck off. And now I do.
Yeah, good.
Now I do. Now I'm at the beach like almost every day.
Cool. Oh, I'm so jealous. I wish I could go to the beach every day. I'm so far away from the beach.
Oh, true. You do live very far away from the beach, don't you? Oh, my goodness. So what are some behaviours, though, that people might not realise are actually part of it, an eating disorder?
Compensatory behaviours, things like exercising and, restricting, skipping meals, things like that. But I'm just trying to think. Say the question again. Sorry.
No, you're all
What
good.
sort of behaviours?
So what are some behaviours people might not realise are actually part of it?
That's a hard question. I don't think I've actually ever been asked that question.
That's okay.
Behaviours that are part of an eating disorder.
Yeah, that people might not realise are.
Isolation.
Yeah, I think that's a big one.
If I'm having a bad day, when I've had bad days, I tend to isolate. I don't feel confident to be out in my body and in my skin, so I just isolate.
Yeah, I find like avoiding going out for lunch. Yeah, social situations, but particularly around food, I'd be like, I can't control everything in there and what kind of food's going to be there. And a lot of people don't realise that either. Is that you do tend to find those situations very confronting.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I guess like I said, the compensatory behaviour. So if you eat something really unhealthy, for instance, you might compensate by skipping the next meal.
Yes.
Or you might have to go to the gym for an hour.
Oh, gosh, I still do that now, actually.
I'm a bit of a gym junkie. I haven't been able to go to the gym because of my hand for the last few weeks, which has been really challenging. But I do love the gym. But even getting out of that mindset that if I go to the gym, I'd feel better about eating.
Yeah.
Like that's not healthy.
Yeah.
You're allowed to eat. You don't need to compensate
Yes.
with excessive exercise.
So like burn it off or
burn
whatever
off
you
the
think
calories
it's
that
going to
you're
do.
going to eat, Yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't realise I'm probably I wouldn't say all the time, but I probably still do
A bit of excessive exercise.
Yeah, or like I'll skip a meal, or I might
to compensate.
Yeah, like if I had a really big dinner the night before, I'd be like,
no breakfast.
No breakfast.
Yeah.
God damn, I didn't only just realise that.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry about. It's good to
But
to
sometimes the
acknowledge
eating
these
disorder
things.
just creeps in a little bit.
Yeah.
And kind of goes, just restrict today because you had a massive unhealthy meal. So
God, I
just
didn't even jerry that. That was such a light bulb moment for me.
go to the gym for an extra half hour than you usually do because of the meal you had last night.
Yes.
It's good the eating disorder just poking at you.
Yeah. Oh, that was good to acknowledge.
Sorry.
As confronting as that was.
Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's so good.
They creep in.
They do.
They creep in.
They do. I
They
didn't
creep
even
into
realize.
your soul.
Yeah. It's very subconscious even a lot of the time, I find. For me now anyway. Yeah. So where does your identity end and the eating disorder begin? So now I know we're talking about separating it.
I love this question.
Yeah. So how would you answer that?
Where does my identity begin or end?
So where does your identity end and the eating disorder begin?
So you yourself are a whole person. You have goals. You have values, things that are important to you. You have likes, dislikes. You have dreams about what you want in your future. All these things that make up who you are, that's who you are. And also there's that, things that make you laugh, things that make you smile, that's like a sparkle inside you that cannot be dulled completely. So there's all these aspects to who you are. The eating disorder is that obsessive, controlling, perfectionistic, persistent, cruel and toxic part of ourselves. But separating them apart is a huge part of recovery.
Yeah.
Because thinking that you are, I'll give you an example. Like when my parents told me that they were going to send me to Hollywood Clinic, I was in my 10th admission at Princess Margaret. I'd literally, I'd run away from hospital. I pulled my feeding tube out on the side of the road.
Oh my gosh.
And called my parents to take me home. But they decided to do something different. They decided to get me admitted to Hollywood Clinic. But when they told me this, I actually got quite violent. I had no strength, so it wasn't really like I actually hurt them or anything. But I remember sort of pushing them and shoving them and really arcing up about the fact that I did not want to go to Hollywood because I knew that girls had to gain weight and start eating normally.
Yeah.
And I hurt them. I physically pushed them. And for me, I felt so terrible about that after the fact. And I think it was important to realise actually that's not Kate. That's not Kate. That's the eating disorder.
Yeah.
The eating disorder is just petrified of losing control.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I can relate to that.
So that's all these qualities, these negative, disgusting qualities that are the eating disorder. It's just completely separate to you.
Yeah, it doesn't define you.
But it doesn't define you, but it can kind of take over at times. And like I said, when I pushed my parents that time, that was the eating disorder taking over. There was no Kate there. You know, that was
pushed through.
Yeah. But yeah, I think I like the question because of just the importance of separating the two is just huge.
Yeah.
But just remember and explore who you are. Like I said, what are your values? What do you find important in life? What do you like? What makes you smile? What makes you laugh? What do you dislike? And what are your dreams? All these sorts of things. Find out who you are because you need that to stand up strong against the eating disorder.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of grounds you in that moment.
Grounds you in the moment. And I think it's important to realize that what the eating disorder wants and what you want is two completely different things. Kate probably just wanted to be happy and healthy, but the eating disorder wants her to be anorexic.
Unwell.
And have no happiness and no joy in her life.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's such a beast, that disorder.
It's a beast. I term it as a beast sometimes. I actually had a bit of a realization the other day, and it's a bit weird, and I don't think everyone would necessarily agree with me on this. But you know Gollum from Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
I had this kind of thought. I was like, it kind of seems like that's kind of what it looks like.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. I could picture that.
And that might not necessarily be the case for everyone. I think it can look different for different people. But I realised that, hey, I've actually got a bit of a thing in me that is a bit like my precious, you know?
Yes.
Like it just grabs a hold of you, this disgusting beast of a thing.
It might even help to visualize something as well.
I found it helpful in that moment. And I did talk about it to some people, and I didn't necessarily get a lot of understanding about it. I don't know if everyone would agree with it. But for me, it made sense at the time.
No, that makes sense for me. And like, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, so
I'm not. But I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. But the image of Gollum just made sense to me at the time.
Yeah.
It is a beast of a thing.
Sure is. All right. Well, at some point, things escalated pretty significantly for you. So I'd like to talk a bit more around when you experienced psychosis. So can you tell me what was happening and what started happening for you?
Okay. So I'll fill you in. The backstory to the psychosis is with the recreational drugs.
Yes.
So after I left Hollywood and I was quite well recovered from the eating disorder, I started getting into socialising and was introduced to raving, drum and bass and raving and things like that. I'm a huge drum and bass fan. But drum and bass, raving, drug taking, but not like on a daily basis, but like
at the events,
weekends. So speed, ecstasy, dexamphetamines, things like that. Which be honest, I had some really nice experiences, bonding experiences with people and camaraderie and things like that with the raving scene. But it led to my downfall. So I have a feeling like even though initially it was more like social anxiety, I started worrying about what people thought of me. I'd get really almost social phobia kind of style stuff. And then I had some panic attacks because of the brain chemistry from all the drugs, and I experienced depression. So I had all this stuff, but I also had a really odd experience of being very disconnected from my feelings. And I talk about this as, a seed of psychosis. It was a seed of psychosis that was planted with the drug use, I believe.
Right.
But it didn't manifest till many years later. I struggled with my mental health from the age of 18 to 20, 23, I think things started to get better at that point. But I struggled with my mental health and I still had this disconnection from my feelings, and it's so hard to explain. But I believe it was the start of something in terms of psychotic episode, because it manifested when I was 20, just before I turned 25.
Yeah.
So I became highly delusional and I isolated myself again from my whole life. Highly delusional. I didn't have any of the other symptoms at that point. It was just the delusion, but it was a pretty hefty delusion. It was pretty distressing, and I was in this state for a whole year, undiagnosed. But I quit my job, I quit uni, I didn't see friends, I stayed at home and sat in my room all the time. I did have to go to hospital a couple of times for my mental health, but people assumed that I was depressed because I didn't tell anyone what was going on in my head.
Yeah, what you were thinking and believing.
Delusions. I didn't think anyone would understand. I had no idea that I was psychotic. I thought that I was completely sane, but I just believed this really intense belief, negative belief, which I'll go into. But yeah, very, very, very hard experience. And I even go on to say sometimes that it makes anorexia nervosa, it pales in comparison.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing I've ever been through.
Well, it's difficult, and I can only relate through like drug-induced psychosis, but you do feel like it is, everything's real. Like and you don't question it. You don't think like, am I crazy? You just, everything seems so real.
I know. It was the most real thing I've ever experienced. And it still makes me squirm and, like I say, cringe. It's a bit cringeworthy.
I understand that a bit more now for when I think back online. I'm like, ugh. Yeah.
So I will just let you know a bit about the delusion.
Yeah, sure.
So I believed that I was in hell. I believed that my spirit had died and that I was dead.
Oh, gosh, that would have been so scary for you.
It was so petrifying. It's so hard to even explain how absolutely grief-stricken I was because I was grieving the loss of myself. I was grieving the loss of my life as it was. I was not well.
No.
I was not well, and I was in that state for a whole year.
And it's like you probably thought you were being punished in some way. Yeah. Correct. Like with your soul being in hell.
Yeah. It sounds pretty cringy, but it was probably—
It sounds awful.
It was the hardest thing I've ever been through. And I didn't tell a soul. I kept it all to myself, and that's why people just assumed, my family just assumed I was really depressed because I just sit in my bedroom and sit on my bed and watch DVDs, and that was all I did.
How did you get help for that?
So it was quite miraculous, and again, it goes into all of this in Hope Inc., the whole story. But I ended up moving down south to Pemberton with my friend Alicia.
Lovely area.
Pemberton's my favourite place in the whole world.
It's gorgeous.
I love it. But we used to go down there camping all the time, and we'd stay at Curry Valley, we'd stay at the Lavender and Berry Farm and things like that. We loved it. We always went down there together. And even though after the psychosis started, I'd cut off from everyone, Alicia she rocked up at my house and she was adamant that I would spend some time with her, and we were going to go down south for New Year's Eve and things like that. So I did, and I actually could kind of do that. Despite the delusion, I could spend time with her and have some fun, which was amazing. It didn't help the delusion whatsoever. I still believed everything I believed.
Right.
But I started to see her more, and we ended up getting to the point where we were in Pemberton because we had friends down there as well. And we saw a house that was up for rent, up for lease. And so we were like, she wanted to get out of Perth because of a relationship or something. So we ended up moving down there. I got a job at the pub and she got a job at the school. And we were down there for a few months, and then she ended up moving in with her soon-to-be husband, and I had the house to myself. It was in the middle of the forest. It was amazing.
That would be nice.
And eventually there was like a spark of something that started to appear in my soul. Like I started getting interested in things like astrology again, and I think I actually started studying naturopathy again. Obviously not in person, but online study. I was doing yoga, all these sorts of things. And eventually one day, I remember I was at the swimming pool in Pemberton. No one was there apart from myself. And it was almost like I had a spiritual enlightenment experience. And all of a sudden my spirit came back. It was this feeling of like, wow, I'm reborn or something. It was bizarre. It was miraculous. But then what happened is I had a manic episode of 3 months.
Oh, gosh, okay.
So, which was a welcome experience after having been delusional and psychotic for 12 months.
Yeah.
I was happy as Larry. I moved back up to Perth. My dad was like, "Oh my God, Kate's amazing. She's just got her shit together
top of the
now."
world.
Yeah. Mum was like, "There's something not right here."
Yeah.
And I didn't know what a manic episode was.
It's hard to know when you're in it
I
well.
was typical manic behaviour, spending money and being really
impulsive,
flirtatious and all, with other people, and it was an incredible experience. But I spent a lot of money on clothes and sold my car and spent the money on other things, and it was just it was typical manic episode. But I was elated. I was high on life.
Yeah,
but that just keeps going and going. It turned into a mixed episode after about 3 months.
Yeah.
So mixed episode is where you get anxiety, depression, severe depression, anger, irritability. The anger was awful. I would throw things and it was not good. My parents were just like, what the hell is going on? Kate's just turned evil. Not evil, but like just I was so distressed all the time.
Yeah.
So that happened and I was going through that for a couple of months or maybe a few months. And then from then it kind of went into full-blown schizophrenic symptoms. So the psychosis was the first thing, then the manic episode, then full-blown schizophrenic symptoms, and then the diagnosis and medication.
Yeah, because what does schizoaffective disorder because it's obviously different to schizophrenia. Like what are the differences?
The only difference is it's actually a little bit more complex because it's got a mood disorder attached.
Oh,
so if you've had a depressive episode or a manic episode, it kind of, along with the psychotic symptoms, it's schizoaffective, not schizophrenia.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. I didn't realise that.
Most people don't know what schizoaffective disorder is, so I have to usually explain it.
Yeah. When we were first talking, I was like, I've never heard of this. And, I work
No, it's just because it's had the mood disorder attached.
Yeah.
That's all it means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing that.
That's okay.
Yeah,
it was
good to know.
It was an intense journey. And, like I said, the 12 months of being psychotic with that delusion was the hardest time of my life. Yeah. But the rest of it, the anorexia and the schizophrenia, both extraordinarily challenging. But, the psychosis was probably the worst of it.
I can't even imagine, though, how hard that would have been because, as I said, I can only relate through drug-induced psychosis. But it was just so realistic.
What did you believe?
Oh man, well I was getting kind of all three things. So I'd have the delusion, lots of delusions, hallucinations, and then I would have what's the other one? Is it disorganized thoughts? Where I have a lot of word salads.
Word salad, yeah. I never had that, but yeah.
So I would have all three, but that's pretty typical with methamphetamine drug-induced psychosis. But I would think all my friends were against me, and now when I look
paranoid,
very paranoid, and I just assumed certain situations were happening that weren't happening. Well, I can't even tell you if they were or they weren't, because that's the other problem with it is that time in my life because I experienced drug-induced psychosis numerous times. It wasn't just once. Any time of my life where I went through that, I don't actually know what was real and what wasn't because I can't actually trust my mind from that period of time.
That's amazing.
Yeah, gosh. So I'm I don't know what was real and what wasn't. It felt very real and, I did believe all these things were happening and I did lose all my friendships, I did. But was it my fault or was it theirs? That's the part that's a bit blurred. And, I wasn't a well person, so I would say it was largely mine, but... You know, I did put them through a lot. So
Yeah.
I'll just take the heat on that one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, we're gonna laugh about it now.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to laugh.
Yeah,
Gotta laugh, otherwise
absolutely.
you'll cry.
That's my medicine.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Looking back on this stuff with a
Yeah.
sense of humor is actually really important.
yeah, it is. Oh,
Like,
oh my gosh, I
shit.
can't even tell you.
I was, not in a good place. I was nuts. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I actually was saying in my episode with Tom Daly, like I thought a SWAT team was after me at one point.
Shit.
I was no one important.
Oh,
There's no
no.
way a SWAT team would have
That's
been
so
after
funny.
me.
Oh my gosh.
They wouldn't have given a fuck.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
But yeah, this is what I mean. It was just so paranoid, really paranoid.
Yeah, I never had the paranoia, thankfully.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, that wouldn't have been pleasant.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't. I just felt like everyone and everything was out to get me.
yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't.
Well, I've worked with a lot of people with mental health issues, and that's quite common.
It is. It is
With
really
schizophrenia
common
as well.
Yeah,
It's quite common.
Absolutely. I want to ask a little bit more around your diagnosis with atypical anorexia. So, what was happening in your life that led up to that?
So I will say that I think I already said it. Since being on the meds in 2011,
That's right. Yes.
my weight has been up and down and dieting on and off because the weight gain is just it's ridiculous with Seroquel.
Yeah.
So it would have been 2023. I think I wasn't at my heaviest, but I was still heavy enough to make me want to lose some weight. So I went on a pretty strict diet that my friend told me about for about 10 days. It was like a 10-day diet.
Right. Okay.
I lost like 4 kilos and I was like, cool. You know, I felt okay about that.
Did that like kind of spark it again then?
No,
or
it didn't
like-
spark the eating disorder as such. Not
Right.
at that point.
Okay.
But my goal was then to get down about another 5 kilos.
Right.
So I wanted to get to a certain weight, and that would have equaled about 10 kilos from when I started. So I wanted to lose 10 in total.
Yep.
And I got to that. And then I don't think it had taken hold of me at that point either. But moving forward from there, it started to take hold. So I probably lost another 3 kilos over the following few months, or the next 6 months maybe. And then I started to get thoughts of, I just want to be thinner. I just want to be even thinner than I am. Because I was getting very slim.
Yeah.
But I was like, it wasn't enough.
There's no stopping. Yeah.
It wasn't enough. There was something in me that was just like, I need to lose more. So
Was that the moment you recognized, like, okay, maybe there's a problem here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And I was still weighing myself daily, and I was getting really obsessive
I've had
about
to
the
stop
number.
doing that.
Yeah, it's not good.
No scales for me now.
No, but yeah, I lost a little bit more weight, sort of realised there was a bit of an obsession here. I think that's sort of when I started writing the book.
Yeah.
And then I think I lost another, like overall, rather than losing the 10 kilos, which was my goal, I lost about 19.
Right. Yeah.
So I got down really low. And then I, like I said, had people comment and sort of express a lot of concern as to how much weight I was losing. I was restricting to the nth degree, but only Monday to Friday. I was still kind of enjoying myself. You know, Leon and I would go out for lunch on the weekends, things like that. It was a Monday to Friday thing. So I'd put on a little bit of weight on the weekend because I put on weight like at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And then I'd just lose it and plus more during the week. So I'd be fasting, I'd be restricting, I'd be going to the gym, I'd be doing all this stuff Monday to Friday, and then having a bit of a lax couple of days and eating a relatively decent amount, not heaps, but enough. So that was what I was going through at the time when I was diagnosed with atypical anorexia. And then I decided, my friend told me about a psychologist that she knew that would specialize in this stuff. I still didn't have the diagnosis of atypical anorexia, but I was like, this is a problem here. We have a problem. And then I started seeing the dietitian that my friend told me about as well. So when I saw the psychologist, she's the one that did the EDQ, which is the eating disorder questionnaire, did that, came back very strongly with atypical anorexia. Then I started seeing the dietitian and then started putting on the weight and nourishing my body more. So, yeah, I don't know if I've answered the question.
No, you did. Yeah. Would you say it was like the influence of your friends and their concerns that then motivated you to get help?
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. And even Leon,
yeah,
you know, was expressing concern because I did get quite low. But then, yeah, gosh, since then it's been quite a journey in itself.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's what I was going through at the time. I feel like I've moved forward ridiculously since that time, and that's all stipulated in the book as well.
Yeah.
My journey through all of that.
Yeah, I would love to ask actually what helps you on a day-to-day the most at the moment.
What's important and what's not.
Yeah.
So realising that actually being thin is not something Kate necessarily needs or wants. That's what the eating disorder and the atypical anorexia wants. So if I'm having a bad body image day, it's like it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm a bit in a slightly bigger body than I was. It doesn't matter. These things don't freaking matter at the end of the day. So just reminding myself as well not to let the eating disorder dull my sparkle is another. It's a phrase that I use a lot in the book.
Yeah, I love it.
Because we have a sparkle within us, and I feel like when you've got something like a really terrible bloody eating disorder, it kind of dulls your sparkle.
Oh, it does.
It does.
Yeah, significantly.
And I think just reminding yourself, I'm not going to let it dull my sparkle. That's not what I want. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't know if did I answer the question?
You did. I actually want to quickly jump into just before we wrap up the work that you're doing now. Can you tell me a little bit more about that and who would be best suited for and how people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Where do I start? So I've been in mental health since 2013. I've been doing primarily peer work. I have done some alcohol and drug counselling over those years. I've done advocacy, group facilitation, things like that, but primarily peer work. So at the moment I'm doing private peer work. I'm actually working out of Oceanic Wellbeing in Subiaco in their office. And I'm looking for more clients. So I specialise in eating disorder recovery, but I can work with anyone. I can work with people with psychotic illness because obviously that's been my lived experience as well. But because I've been through everything there is in terms of mental health, anxiety, depression, social anxiety, so I can work with anyone with any sort of issue because my specialty really is recovery. And I can kind of call myself a recovery coach at the same time as I'd call myself a peer worker because a lot of people don't know what peer work is.
No.
So sometimes saying it as a recovery coach is a little bit more understandable because that's literally what I do. I coach people in their recovery.
Yeah.
But it's my passion. It fills my cup every day. But I'm literally over this last week, I've just signed up to be an NDIS provider.
Oh,
so I'll be able to work with people with NDIS plans.
Oh, perfect.
So that's really good because my position at Grow is the contract's not being extended past June.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get the referrals up for my private peer work.
Yeah.
And obviously that's why I went to the NDIS stuff to be an NDIS provider so I can provide services to people with NDIS.
It's just so important.
Yeah. But that's what I do. That's my profession, I suppose, is peer work.
Yeah, and how do people find you?
Easiest way is probably Instagram or Facebook. Otherwise, my website, there's a link to my email on the website so people can contact me via the email.
Yep.
But my website is katepurcell.com, which is actually a lot of that is all to do with my blogs because I write blogs quite consistently.
Okay, yeah.
Mainly about eating disorder recovery, but about all sorts of different recovery concepts. But that's how you can find out a little bit more about me. But yeah, also Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing.
Perfect. And do those link on the website as well? Like, do you have Facebook and Instagram?
I actually don't have that on the website. I need to do that though. I really do.
It's helpful.
Yeah, it's really helpful. But I mean, should I say my email address just in case people are interested?
Absolutely.
So it's it's Mini K. Mini K is the word, but it's spelled MINIK with 4 3s, 3333 at hotmail.com.
Perfect.
So minik3333 at hotmail.com.
Awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you for that.
That's okay.
So I just have one more question before we wrap it up. So what can someone do today to tell their eating disorder to fuck off?
Do the thing that makes you laugh and smile. Do the thing that brings out your sparkle. Do something you enjoy. Do something that nourishes you, and not necessarily nourishing in terms of a food that you might want to eat. Nourish your soul. Do something, some self-care. Do something that makes you feel nourished, because the eating disorder doesn't like that. It doesn't believe that you deserve that. But absolutely 100% you do deserve that. You deserve to nourish your body and your soul.
I love that.
If you can have an amazing meal, something you really love, then that really does tell your eating disorder to fuck off.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be food related. It could be anything that nourishes you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just laugh and smile and find things that you enjoy and do that.
Yeah, live your life to the fullest.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And don't let it dull your sparkle.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah, and where can people get this book, by the way?
So you can get it on Amazon. You can get it on many different online stores. Yeah, and it's also at a couple of bookstores in Perth as well. It's
awesome.
At Crow Books in Vic Park. It's also at New Edition in Fremantle. But yeah, online's probably the best bet.
Awesome. Oh, well, thank you so much for coming in today,
worries.
Kate. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
I appreciate you even just holding space for me to be able to share what I've been through as well in that area, because it's something that I don't talk about often, to be honest.
I will just say quickly, the one thing we didn't really touch on was the ins and outs of my recovery journey since I was diagnosed. And I just want to say that it's all outlined in Hope Inc., how I managed to build up my life to where it is today. So I will just say I've never been happier in terms of my life as a whole, but considering where I was at and where I am at now, it's night and day.
Yeah.
And how I got there is all in Hope Inc.
All in Hope Inc. Okay, perfect.
Because it was quite a journey.
Yeah. Oh, I can only imagine. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that
No
as
worries,
well.
my
And
pleasure.
you know, it's amazing to hear what you've been through and to see where you are now.
Thank you.
So you should be really proud.
Thank you.
No worries.
Thanks.
Well, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks. My pleasure.